So you've joined a club, you've found a synagogue, you have thrown a party, made connections, gone to coffees, met some people that you think will be great candidates to be in your village. And then you realize, wait, you don't know these people yet. Like, they seem cool, they have potential, but there's a next step. And this video is about the next step. I'm Amaya. I've helped build communities from college campuses to corporate offices and in between, including in my life. And I'm here to help you find and build community. In this series in particular, we're talking about the steps to find that community and to build that community. So if this video is helpful to you, if the last one was helpful to you, please feel free to be a little helpful to me and like, comment, subscribe. And I love to hear from you. So let's get into some of the strategies that I use to build community and some of the tenets of that and what that's based on. So one of the top strategies to build community is to do something that I realize some people, particularly my generation, are not as comfortable with, which for many reasons I completely understand that. Like, we were raised by the generation of latchkey kids, but also people who grew up in the 80s with a lot of panic culture. Ergo, it's best to leave other people alone, and other people are kind of scary. But most people are not scary. And because of that, what you have to do to actually build that community, right, is say you meet somebody at an event. The next step there, you say hey, it would be great to connect. Whenever you do that, don't just assume you're leaving the ball in their court. Because something that I've learned throughout my life, my career, is that if people defer responsibility, then it becomes nobody's responsibility and things fizzle out there. So doing that, say, hey, I would love to see you again. And then this is what you do. This is what you do here is you offer specific dates and times that work for you, because that's when a concept becomes an action or a plan. Whenever you set set something that you intend to do and desire to do, if you don't put a timeline on it, then it is just kind of floating, right? There's no concreteness to that. And when you are trying to become somebody's friend, if you want to build a better relationship with somebody, you have to give them certainty, which means giving them some concrete, tangible thing that they can take and act on. And saying that you're free on Wednesday night is a great tactic. That gives them something concrete. So if you're wondering exactly what type of thing you should do, my recommendation, I think it depends to a certain extent on what the nature of your meeting was, right? If you were in a space where you met, but you didn't quite totally get to fill out who they are, what their interests are, anything like that, going to get a coffee, or even just popping into somewhere maybe for a drink, is a very low stakes thing you can do. I will say I am a fan of a little excursion, right? Say there's a party or something like that happening with some friends that I have at I live in DC, so there's the portrait gallery, right? Or the National Gallery of Art, these Smithsonian places that are actually free to go to. That it's hey, come hang out with me and my group of friends, and that gives you more of an opportunity to spend time with them in a group dynamic too, which I know can feel a lot more comfortable than just like hang out one on one when you're first meeting a person. So perfecting like the art of the follow up is essential to building community. Um, and I'd say that's like perhaps the number one strategy, the top thing that you have to figure out. Um, and the top thing that you like have to get good at. The other piece of that doing on the follow up sense is make sure that you are affirming. Like, say if you have to cancel, and you're like, hey, like, I don't know, say you work in an agency and you're supposed to meet up with this person at like 5:30 or 6, but you're gonna have to stay late till 8, and you know that's not gonna work with their schedule. Be like, hey, like, I can't get out of this thing. I am so sorry, but I am free next week on this date, and this date. So it shows that you are following through and that you actually are interested in still seeing them. Um, I think that is something, I think that's a very important piece because when you are pursuing like a friendship and trying to build a relationship with somebody, like you also need to give them that validation that they are being considered. So that is an additional piece there. The next few strategies on this list are create a ritual around this community and this community building, whatever that looks like. Like I mentioned in my last video, like the way you're going to get to know people is by seeing them frequently, ideally like multiple times a month. So you actually get to know them as a person. But it's also like lowering the barrier to entry, right? So that's why a lot of your friendships in school were so strong, because the barrier to entry for that friendship was very low because you'd go to school and you'd see them every day, right? So it was like, oh, I know I'm going to see this person Monday through Friday at minimum. So that makes it a lot easier to maintain this friendship, right? So when I say lowering the barrier to entry in adult friendships, I mean adult friendships and relationships across the board. I mean like establishing a routine, a ritual, right, of seeing um, whatever person in a way that is uh, one, like lower cost, right? Like I have a friend who she lives closer to me, but something that we do together often is we literally just go for long walks. Like um that is a part of our ritual. That is a lower barrier to entry than us like getting dinner all the time. Like um I have some friends where it's a lot harder to do things like that, and our friendships like tend to lean towards like things like getting dinner and things that are like cost more. Therefore, the barrier to entry for the friendship and like spending time with the person is like a bit higher. Um, and it does make it like a little bit harder to like see them and like connect with them as often. So if you are like trying to build like a solid relationship with somebody, I recommend doing things that lower the barrier to entry and creating rituals around seeing them, which also goes into your schedule. Like 9:30, like an hour or so before you go to bed, you like sit down and think, like, hey, like what friends do I want to see like this week and like this upcoming week? Like, what does my schedule look like? What does my work schedule look like? Do I have anything big coming up? And even sending a text to somebody you haven't seen in a while and saying like, hey, like the next few weeks are super busy, but like I'd love to see you, I miss you. That is a great, like, I think that is a good way also to like let your friends know and the people that you're building relationships with that like you are perhaps in the trenches, but they're on your mind. So those two things I think are very key and important. The next piece I have, and I think these two kind of go together, but one is you want to write things down. Like if you say, hey, like I'm going to spend time with this person this week. Um, put it in your calendar. Like you need to be as organized just about in your personal life as you are in your work life. Maybe more than your work life. I don't know how everybody works, but like if you have like a planner, if you don't have a planner, get one. I use Notion calendar. Every time that I'm like, okay, like I'm hanging out with this person on this day, I have this party coming up here, I like put it in my calendar. I used to just keep it in my head, which is crazy. Um, it was just really crazy. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know I'm hanging out with this person on Tuesday at 6 p.m. at like the Eden Hotel. Um, and then I was like, I should write these things down. So write those down, but also write down. Um, to be honest, if you are kind of a forgetful person, or I don't even want to say forgetful person, if you have a lot of information that you're absorbing all the time, like write down what you talk about sometimes, like not in a place where anybody can find them, but like if I have a friend who is graduating college soon, um, I will write it down so that I like don't forget what they have going on and can also be like sensitive to their situation because you don't want to be in a position where you may have talked to a friend about something that was like going on in their life, and the next time you see them you're like all like, you know, uh, your demeanor and tone does not match what's happening in their lives, and it's not sensitive to that. So I'd say, uh, try to like at least write it down or like take a mental note, so you know like what's going on, um, and like write down birthdays. Like I have birthdays in my phone so that you can like make those like connection points with people. Next tip on that I think is also like in that category is don't be afraid to like be vulnerable even at the beginning of like developing like this community and these friendships. And when I say vulnerable, I don't mean like oh my parents divorced and now it affects the way that I relate to my um to everybody in my life, something like that. Like I don't necessarily mean like be like that out the gate, but don't be afraid to show who you are as an individual. um like if you're like, oh, really nerdy about like I don't know, like rocks and like gemstones and crystals and stuff like that, like you should feel comfortable saying that, like, and people will love you more for it. Like to be loved, you have to be open, I think, and just like allow yourself to genuinely be you, because your friendships will be richer for it. So the last piece that I would say, um, on the last two pieces actually, I would say on strategies to build your community is one, and this actually goes back to finding your community also, is to hosting like parties and gatherings, but even like intimate ones, like having people in your home, I think is one of like the way, like biggest ways that you can show love. Obviously, again, this like not everybody is able to do this, but not even just like hosting, like you can host like at a restaurant, you can technically host like at a baseball game, but like gathering many people together all at once, I think creates like a very like fun group dynamic, as long as you like know your people to a certain extent. But it also gives you the opportunity to connect with people when you don't have time to like connect with everybody one on one during the week or something like that. Like hosting opens up many opportunities, I think. And the very last piece is do not let yourself get burned out. Like be thoughtful about the process because you are not, like it's hard to show love to anybody else if you feel like you are not showing enough love to yourself. And I think the first couple of years that I was like independent on my own, like out, um, just like learning and becoming a young adult, I would stretch myself so much that I would end up really, really tired. Like I'd like go to too many parties and functions and I'd stay out too late. And I was like, oh, like this does not feel good. And just like get to know yourself enough that you know your signs, right? And that you can get ahead of that, right? Like I've started to basically do a thing where I might have like if I have like a really busy week one week, the next week, like I'm not scheduling anything. Like I might have like a thing or two, but like I have also had like weeks where I have something every night, Sunday through Sunday. And you need to have that balance because you can't be a great community member if you're not great at loving yourself. Hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any other questions for me that will be helpful to answer, please feel free to ask them in the comments, and follow along on any of my other socials, and like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. This has been really fun. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.